welcome in. How'd you like give us a little bit of funk as we enter a little bit of jazzy funk in the way in, right? Greetings, everybody here. Change the lighting a little bit today. I hope this is a little better. I took off the big light of me and have some lights around me that I used for always for podcasting. A light around the camera and stuff. Background is a hit on Riverside. Got a little library going in my Brooklyn loft. It's called the Brooklyn Loft. Funny. Never been there, and definitely would never live there. Anyhow, I like to say anyways. You notice the word anyways is like it's directionless. Anyways, anyways, you mean anyways? I can go anywhere. Now, there's an aspect of that sounds very creative and connective, right? Definitely connective vibe. But also, when you're definitely honing in on a certain aspect, whether it's creativity, whether it's anything else, is definitely in the aspect of there will definitely connect with you on a higher reign of reference. But if you want to get specific, there might be something specific you're doing, and you may have to render an obedience to the specific. But know this, there's always a play of feminine and masculine and yin and yang, logical and intuitive. So a lot of things when you're trying to do something certain ways, it may be the other side. It will, in a dualistic plane, activate the other side. And I always called it a need to file, not always a need to push it aside, but just file it away, because when it's time, in that perfect time, it'll be filed there, and not in a rejected or trash pile, but a file pile, or a file, put it in a file in a drawer, something that can be filed away within you, because it's actually part of you. It's in your DNA, that file. But anyways, there's that word again, anyways. Used to saying it all the time. Man, we just got on the Dhammapada one. I've actually had this book on my mind way, 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 way before even I did the Gnostic books. I actually have it saved in my computer. I just never got around to doing it, as I was doing a lot of stuff during the first of the year that was connected to the new administration. Just trying to get people with changes. It can be a lot of frivolous actions, right? Not sure, inconsistencies. And if you're taking a side, for sure, you're going to find yourself in these aspects. What I really was trying to do, I understood what happened in one aspect, which would make a majority of people go to the other side when certain people look at certain things a certain way and are not, programmed by either, but don't know the full truth of the situation, to pick sides over them that are just this, and then flip it to the other side are just this. It's the same quarter, even lies flat. Heads and tails are on the opposite sides. Red and blue are on the opposite sides. Same coin. And I'll even share a little mystery with you. I've said it on one of the Gnostic Gospel. When you understand, this word coin comes from the word king. That's why you see kings, queens, necromancy. When you see dead presidents appear on dollar bills and on coins, it's called necromancy. It comes from Saturn. Saturn's connection to necromancy is there. Laws, powers, limits, old, cold, repeating seasons, all Saturn, right? We've been living a Saturn cult forever. All you married ones out there and have been married, if you wear a wedding ring and you wear earrings, that's from Saturn. That's where you get the TV show Lord of the Rings. It's Saturn. The series, it's Saturn. So I did teach a lot, and really what I was teaching a lot in was showing that the new administration had aspects of it that you need to be aware of. And if you're here leaning to the one side or the other and thinking I'm talking bad about one side and not the other, no, they're both not looking out for your best interest, or part of what we did in Gnosticism. It's a system of Yada Baoth in the story. It's the matrix to keep you humbly following after things that don't look out for your best and never have. It's actually, I even said the scripture, it says, don't love the things in the world, neither the things of the world. When you go into the Greek, the word actually means for world, does not mean physical world, it means religion and polytricks. Religiosity binding polytricks, playing a political science game on you with tricks, which are for kids, but they see you as kids and cattle. So that's why the games are played in a system that neither appears to be good or bad. I'll lean more towards the B. But really, things can appear to be certain ways when you do the opposite of that way. Anyways, the pole tricks, the opposites do attract. One becomes, I was trying to push. One became, for common sense people, one became particularly stupid as retarded. Let's be honest. Doing things just like brain dead, and been doing it, and things came about them and their acts now have came out. If you're still in it, then wake up and start over. But also know that it ran because of their badness, was part of the script to run them in the arms of the other side, which has some common sense, it appears. But the biggest plan isn't the common sense. The biggest plan is, how do we get from plan A to plan B? I'm going to use this for an example. I noticed that we were told, and then if you have any common sense and have looked up, we're in a depopulation mode spilt by many global organizations that just came out and just told you. From BG, the Seattle guy, Izzy guy, and the WIF, and many of these other globalists are saying their plans have been open. Get rid of everybody, electric cars, all this stuff, right? From everything. And the thing about having vaccines has pretty much been told it's needed for depopulation. BG said that, and it's caught on tape. And if you haven't seen it and don't want to see it, it's your choice not to want to see it, because you want to live and don't want to know truth. Truth can love you, but truth can be very, very real and haunting, to the point where, that's the deal, where you're expecting something joyous out of it, but then it's a reality hits that's not where you get joy from. So what am I saying is, that's why I got really heavily in the new regime. And believe me, I'm not against either side. I'm not for either side either. And actually, I don't like to use the word against, but definitely I know what they is, both sides. We did stuff on this video showing you they're all bloodlines, with the girl in 2009 did the test on her school work and showed that all the presidents were related except one. And it's one that I've really never heard of in the past, and they were all related. If that ain't BB, some stuff slaps us in the face, whether the veil is still on your eyes to see the illusion of Maya as being what you're subject to. I can't change that. The people who come here want to know this. It's about, where do I stand? How do I stand? How do I elevate? Where do I go? What am I? And all these questions can be asked in this time and space, right? So, and then you might ask, well, what do you think we can do? I think that your power is to work on yourself and be very aware of who you are, and tapping in through different practices of who you are, taking your knowledge, allowing the feminine aspect, the male aspect, to create wisdom and knowledge, because they go hand in hand. It's not one-sided. There's a time you feel, and there's a time you let it process. And there's a time for that. And there's a time to let it process. And there's a time that you just file things because you're not ready to process, but your ears are ready to hear. The seed was planted. It just wasn't time for it to grow yet. It was just planted deep because you're a soul, and soulish things are planted deep. So when we're going into this, and why I'm saying that, so I really stayed on that for a while. I just wanted to prove some points, and I think we did. And I'm very aware. We have some good stuff here talking about being part of what MAGA means. What is a Baron? Why is somebody's son named Baron when it's a blue blood title? So this is stuff anybody knew, because you new subscribers, welcome in. So we had a few new ones. I think it goes with the clips are reaching out and touching people. Some of these clips got really good volume and got out there in the algorithm. But anyways, I'm going on 12 minutes of me going in. But let's hit this book. This is very good. And I think we're side 4 is where we're at, and that's where we'll start again. So Let's go 4 in verse 60. We'll start there. Long is the night to him who is awake. Long is a mile to him who is tired. Long is a life to the foolish who do not know the true law. If a traveler does not meet with you who is his better or his equal, let him firmly keep his solitary journey. There's no companionship with the fool. Wow. These sons belong to me, and his wealth belongs to me. And such thoughts, a fool is tormented. He himself being not belong to himself, not being belong to himself, is much less the sons of wealth. The fool who knows his foolishness is a wise, at least so far. But a fool who thinks himself wise is called a fool indeed. If associated with a wise man, verse 64, even all the life he'll perceive the truth as a little as a spoon perceives the taste of soup. If an intelligent man, he's associated for 1 minute only with a wise man, he will soon perceive the truth, as the tongue perceives the taste of the soup. The fools of little understanding have themselves for their greatest enemies, for they do evil deeds which must bear better fruits. That deed is not well done for a man much repent, and the reward of which he receives crying with a tearful face. No, that deed is well done of which a man does not repent, and the reward of which he lives, he receives gladly and cheerfully. As long as the evil deed does not bear fruit, the fool thinks he is like honey. When it ripens, then the fool suffers grief. Let a fool month after month eat his food like an ascetic, with the tip of the blade. The kusha grass, let him, yet he is not worth the 16th particle of those who have well weighed the law. 71. An evil deed, like a newly dawned milk, does not turn suddenly, smoldering, like fire covered by ashes. It follows the fool. And when the full deed, after it has become known, brings sorrow to the fool, then it destroys it destroys. Wait, prayed in some. When the evil deed, after he's become known, brings sorrow to the fool, then it destroys its bright lot. May it cleaves his head. Let the fool wise wish for a false reputation for proceeding among biscus, for the lordship of convents, for worshiping among other people, May both the layman and who is left the world think that he is done by me, may be subject to me, and everything that is to be done is not to be done. This is the mind of the fool, and his desire is pride's increase. One is the road that leads to wealth. Another is a road that leads to nirvana. If Bhikkhu, the discipline of Buddha, has learnt this, he will not yearn for honor. He will strive for separation of the world. Next chapter. If your intelligent man tells you true measures to be found, who shows what is to be avoided and administers reproofs, follow that wise man. It will be better, not worse, for those who follow him. Let him admonish, let him teach, let him forbid what is proper. He will not be loved of God. By the bad he will be hated. Do not have evil doers for friends. Do not have low people for friends. Have virtuous people for friends. Have for your friends the best of men. He who drinks in the law lives happily with a serene mind. The sage rejoices in the law, as preached by the elect Arias. Well makers lead the water, whoever they like. Fletchers bend the arrow. Carpenters bend a log of wood. Wise men fashion themselves. As a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, wise men falter not amidst blame and praise. Wise men, when they have listened to the laws, become sincere or serene, like a deep, smooth, and still lake. Remember, still lake. Isn't that a Old Testament scripture, by the stillness of the river, right? Wise people, have they listened to the laws, become serene, like a still lake, right? Smooth and still lake. Good people walk on whatever befall. The good do not prattle, longing for pleasure. They're touched by happiness or sorrow. Or wise people never appear elated or depressed. If whether on his own sake or for the sake of others a man wishes neither for his son nor wealth or nor lordship, if he does not wish for his own success by unfair means, then he is good, wise, and virtuous. Few are there among men who arrive at the other shore, become Arats. Other people here run down the shore, but those who, when the law has been well preached to them, follow the law will across the dominion of death, however difficult to overcome. A wise man should leave the dark state of ordinary life, follow the bright state of bhikshu. After going from his home to homeless state, he should in his retirement look for enjoyment where there seemed to be no enjoyment, leaving all pleasures behind, calling nothing his own. The wise man should purge himself from all troubles in the mind. Those whose mind is well grounded in the 7 elements of knowledge, who without clinging to anything rejoice in freedom from attachment, whose appetites have been conquered, who are full of light and are free even in the world. 7. Another small one. Arat. Let's say the venerable or venerable. Let me do something real. Clean my glasses. I was getting sweaty and I'm not seeing clear. It's kind of humid today. It's been really warm here in Southern California. Nice day, but windy. Today it dropped. But the cloud cover, the cloud cover, I could feel the humidity has increased. Okay, let's see if I can get this a little bit better. There is no suffering for him who's finished the journey and abandoned grief, who has freed himself from all sides, throwing out all his fetters. They depart with their thoughts well collected. They are not happy in their abode. Like swans, they left their lake. They leave their house and home. Men who have no riches, who live on recognized food, who have perceived the void, unconditional freedom, nirvana. Their path is difficult to understand, like that of the birds in the air. He who appetites are stilled, who not absorbed enjoyment, who had perceived void, unconditioned freedom, nirvana. His path is difficult to understand, like that of the birds of the air. The gods even envy whose senses, like horses, well broken in by the driver, who's not been subdued, who's not free from pride and free from appetites. Such a one who does his duty intolerant like the earth, like Indra's bolt. He is like a lake without mud, no new bursts in store for him. His thought is quiet, quiet are his word and deed. When he has obtained freedom by true knowledge, when he has thus become a quiet man, the man who is free from credulity but knows the uncreated, who has cut all ties, removed all temptations, renounced all desires, he is the greatest man. In Hamlet, or the forest, in the deep water, or the dry land, whenever venerable persons, Arata dwell, the place is delightful. Forests are delightful. The world finds no delight where the passions will find delight. They look for not for pleasures. Wow. 8. The thousands. Even with the speech for 1,000 of words, but made by senseless word, one word of sense is better than if a man wears, he becomes quiet. Even though his Gatha poem be 1,000 words, but made up of senseless words, one word is Gatha is better. If a man hears, he becomes quiet. Though a man recite 100 Gathas made up of senseless word, one word of the law is better, which is if a man hears, he becomes quiet. If one man conquers in a battle 1,000 times men, if another conquer himself, he's the greatest of conquerors. If oneself is conquered better than all the other people, not even a god, Gandharva, not Mara, Brahman, could change into the defeat of a victory of a man who has vanquished himself and lives under restraint. If a man for 100 years sacrificed month after month for 1,000, and if he put for one moment pay homage to a man whose soul is grounded In true knowledge, better is the homage than the sacrifice for 100 years. If a man for 100 years worship Agni, fire, in the forest, and if he's put one moment, pay homage to a man whose soul is grounded in true knowledge, better than a homage of sacrifice for years, 100 years. Whatever a man sacrifice in the world is an offering for obligation for a whole year to gain merit. The whole of it is not worth a quarter. Wow. A farthing. Reverence shown to the righteous is better. He who always greets constantly reveres the age. Four things will increase to him: life, beauty, happiness, power. But he who lives 100 years, vicious, unrestrained, a life of one day is better if a man is virtuous, reflecting. He who lives 100 years, ignorant, unrestrained, a life of one day is better if a man is wise and reflecting. And if he who lives 100 years, idle, weak, life of one day is better than if a man who attained firm strength. Wow. He who lives 100 years, not seeing beginning and end, a life one day is better if a man sees beginning and end. And he who lives 100 years, not seeing a mortal place, a life one day is better if a man sees an immortal place. Yeah. He who lives 100 years, not seeing the highest law, a life of one day is better than if a man sees the highest law. Let me see the time we're at. We're at a 1:16. We got a little time here. We do. We got a little time. 1:16. If a man would hasten towards the good, he could keep his thought away from evil. If a man does what is good slothfully, his mind delights in evil. If a man commits a sin, let it do it again. Let him delight in sin. Pain is the outcome of evil. If a man does what is good, but let him do it again, let him delight in it. Happiness is the outcome of good. Even an evildoer sees happiness as long as the evil deed is not ripened. But when the evil deed is ripened, then does the evil doer see evil. Even a good man sees evil days as long as his good deed is not ripened. But when the good deed is ripened, then does the good man see happy days. Let no man think lightly of evil, saying in his heart, it will not come nigh unto me. Even by the falling of water drops, water pot is filled. A fool becomes full of evil if he gathers little by little, gather it little by little. Let no man think lightly of good, saying in his heart, it will not come nigh unto me, even by the falling of the water drops. A water pot is filled, the wise man's good, even if he gather it little by little. If a man avoid evil deeds as a merchant, then he has few companions, carried much wealth, avoids dangerous roads, as a man who loves his life avoids poison. He who has no wound on his hand may touch poison with his hand. Poison does not affect one who has no wound, nor is there evil for one who does not commit evil. If a man opened up a harmless, pure, innocent person, the evil falls back upon the fool, like light dust thrown up against the wind. Some people are poor. Some people are born again, not poor. Evil doers go to hell. Righteous people go to heaven. Those who are free from all worldly desires attain nirvana. Not in the sky, not in the sea, not if we enter into the clefts of the mountains. It is there, known a spot in the whole world where man might be freed from an evil deed, not in the sky, not in the midst of the sea, nor in the clefts of the mountain. It is there in a spot the whole world's death should not overcome the mortal. That's heavy because when you look at this, you notice you're seeing words like heaven or hell, right? You're showing this. If you don't know, you're going to find out right now. This concept was not new to Christianity. This is a lot older than Christianity, as we know, right? This goes back a long time. Heaven and hell in this are not places, but yet places. Places in the mind. A higher joyous place, or an evildoer, unjoyous, unhappy place. That, you know, a lot of these keep referring to one side to the other, one side the dualistic of negativity to the other side of creating value and creating goodness and creating love and creating that which will bring you peace and harmony, to that very familiar with the eons in the creation book of the Gnostic creation book, where even Yaldabaoth replicated creating his own reality, copycatting, but every part of his copycat was all the opposite sides of brilliance to low self-esteem, to strife and envy. Couldn't really, he tried to, but it's always a copycat because it's nothing creative they do. It's always a copycat. But the system, the programs keep running and can wear you out. So let's go to 29. Let's see real quick where we're at in time. Okay, I think we'll read some more. Then we can call that this one done. All men tremble at punishment. All men fear death. Remember, you are likened to them that do not kill nor cause slaughter. All men tremble at punishment. All men love life. Remember, thou art likened to them who do not kill nor cause slaughter. He who seeks his own happiness, punishments, or kills beings who also long for happiness will not find happiness after his death. He who seeking his own happiness does not punish or kill things who are also long for happiness, he will find happiness after death. Do not speak harshly to anybody. Those who are spoken to will answer thee in the same way. Anger speech is painful. Blows for blows will touch thee. If I like shattered metal plate going, thou utter not. Then thou reachest nirvana. Contention is not known to thee. As a coward and his staff drives his cows into the stable, so do age and death drive the life of man. A fool does not know when he commits to his evil deeds, but the wicked man burns by his own deeds, as if burnt by fire. He who inflicts pain on the innocent and harmless persons will soon come to one of these 10 states. He will have cruelty, suffer loss, injury of the body, heavy afflictions, loss of mind, or the misfortune coming from the king, or fearful accusations, or loss of relationships, or destruction of treasures, or the lighting fire will burn his houses, and then his body is destroyed. The fool then will go to hell. Not nakedness, not plaiting hair, not dirt, not fasting, not lying, not on the earth, not rubbing with the dust, not sitting motionless, can purify a mortal who has not overcome desires. He who through dressed fine apparel exercises tranquility, is quiet, subdued, restrained, chaste, and has ceased to find with all the beginnings. He indeed is a Brahmin, or Brahmana, Sarama, friar, bhikkhu. This is this world, any man so restrained by humility that he does not mind reproof will train the horsewhip. Well, like an old trained horse, when touched by the whip, but you actively lively by faith, by virtue, by energy, by meditation, by discernment of the law, you will overcome the great pain of reproof, perfect in knowledge and in behavior, never forgetful. Well makers read the water, whatever they like. Fletchers bend the arrow. Carpenters log wood. Good people fashion themselves. I love that. This is very powerful. Good people fashion themselves. Let's see if we should call this a day, or this is only 10, but I kind of think we can. What do you guys think? Anyways, let's get 10 and we'll call it a day. How is their laughter? This one's called old age. How is their joy? As this world is always burning, why do you not seek a light? Ye who are surrounded by darkness, look at this dressed up lump, covered the wounds, joined together, sickly, full of many thoughts, which has no strength and no hold. This body is wasted, full of sickness, frail. The heap of corruption breaks to pieces. Life indeed ends in death. Those white bones, like ground thrown away in autumn, what pleasure is there for looking for them? After a stronghold has been made of the bones, it is covered with flesh and blood, and there dwelled in old age and death and pride and deceit. The brilliant charities of the kings are destroyed. The body also approaches destruction, but the virtue of the good people never approach destruction. Thus do the good say to the good man, a man who has learnt a little grows like an old ox. His flesh grows, but his knowledge does not grow. Looking for the matter of the tabernacle, I shall have no run through the course of many birds. So as long as I do not find him, painful is a birth again and again. But the maker, or now the maker of the tabernacle, thou hast been seen, shall not make any tabernacle again. All thy rafters are broken. The ridgepole is sundered. The mind approaching the eternal Vishanakra, Shakara, Nirvana, has attained the extinction of all desires. Men who have not observed proper discipline, have not gained treasure of their youth, perish like old herons in a lake without fish. Men who have not observed proper discipline. And this is called self, and we will do this in the future. This is God 12. This is very good. There's so much. Let me go to me. There is so much wisdom here to me. I mean, this thing is just full of wisdom, and it shows you life, and it shows you. It's very simple to read. I mean, a very young child could read this, and the way that even the extraction of the wisdom from the knowledge, because it's made very easily edible for anybody, is powerful, because the knowledge and the wisdom that's within it will just flourish within you and raise you and expand within you. This would be Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, same thing. Just another story of another culture that actually has been doing this longer than we have in a certain aspect of when we look at certain stories that are recent. Man, this was very good. I like this. And I told you there's the Sophia definitely is there. I'm going to write this because I have some things I want to do. I have this. I like this. Pistis of Sophia. I want to do the function of the archons, and it's called something else, which will come out, which we're going to get another feminine power out of this story that's really, really bitten, and see why it's been hidden. And I mean, they try to stroke this down. And if you don't know, we will get, I want to do that. I also want to do the Sophia of Jesus Christ, but I had to do some of this because this is really good stuff. And I really, I meditated to this a few times, put the headphones, the audio, and listened to this book, the part 2 of the Dhammapada. Very good, powerful stuff. Like I said, if you go read on it, you'll find out many people applied this in their lives and seen immediate reflections of changes and a metamorphosis within themselves. So you guys, you know what you guys deserve before I go? And I didn't do it. I did it from the beginning, but I'm going to give you something you didn't get from the beginning. I'm going to give you guys something that you guys need, deserve. Here we go. Let's go. Ooh, yeah. You guys deserve that cheer for you just being here and being part of this. Thank you guys and all you new people. Tap in, share, subscribe, share with others you may know. Let us grow together and become a oneness community of oneness. You guys have a great, fantastic day.